Once upon a time, in a small village called Soto, there lived a young girl named Amara. Amara was beautiful and well behaved. She was loved by everyone in the village. Parents in the village told their daughter to take an example from her. One day, while returning from the river, she met a man who asked her for water, and she gave it to him. Then, several times after, on her way to the river or her way back from the river, she was meeting the same man. They became friends and then they fell in love. The man gave her his name. His name was Kobe. They used to meet near the river. They really loved each other very much. After a while, Kobe was not coming to their meeting place anymore, and that made Amara very sad, and everyone noticed. One day, she wasn't feeling well. She therefore went to the village doctor, who found that she was pregnant. It was a disappointment for her parents because in the village, it was a dishonor for a girl to be pregnant without being married. The villagers were mocking her. The village elders decided that to make things right, the person responsible for her pregnancy should marry her. So she was asked who was responsible for her pregnancy. She didn't know what to say because all she knew about him was his name, Kobe. The elders then decided to banish her from the village in order to set an example for other girls in the village. She cried her eyes out, begging them to let her stay in the village, but they refused. She begged her parents to find a solution, but there was nothing they could do. She was therefore chased out of the village. On her way, looking for a nearby village to take refuge in, she no longer had any strength, and because of her condition, she fainted on the way. A man was passing by. He saw her and took pity on her. He rescued her and took her to his house. When she woke up, she saw a lady and asked her, "Where am I? Who are you?" The lady explained to her that her husband found her unconscious on the road and had helped her. Amara also told them what happened to her in her village. The man and his wife, Mr. and Mrs. Okoye, agreed to keep her at their home. They had no children. They treated Amara like their own daughter. Amara gave birth to a baby boy. She named her son Kobe Jr., like his father. When Kobe Jr. was old enough to stay in the care of Mrs. Okoye, Mr. Okoye found work for Amara at the royal palace. Because he was working there, she became a maid at the palace. After some time, the prince who was abroad was about to return to the village to take some responsibility while his father was sick, and he was supposed to get married. For that, they have organized a festival in which he was supposed to choose the woman he would marry. When Amara wanted to know more about the festival, they told her that girls who already have children cannot participate. The festival was to last 3 days, so that all the young girls in the village would participate. The prince, who was outside the village, therefore returned to the village for the festival. The first day of the festival passed. The prince did not choose anyone. The second day passed. He still did not choose anyone. He then said to his mother, "Mother, I have already told you that I am in love with a woman from another village." His mother replied, "But you also told me that you don't know where to find her. Time is running out. You have to get married. Whether you like it or not, tomorrow you will choose a wife." Worried, the prince was walking around the palace courtyard. He saw one of the maids of the palace and told one of his servants to ask the maid to bring him a drink. When the maid came closer, surprised, the prince said, "Amara," and Amara did not recognize him directly because of his prince outfit. Then he added, "Amara, is that you?" She was in shock. "Kobe?" she said, trembling. "Yes, it's me," said the prince. "Are you the prince everyone was waiting for? Are you a prince?" asked Amara in tears. Then she left the palace. The prince went to his mother and said to her, "Mother, I have found her." "Who?" asked the queen. "The woman I told you about. She works at the palace. She's a maid." "You want to marry one of the maid?" replied his mother. "Which one?" she added. "It's Amara." "Impossible," replied the queen. "Why is that?" "She's the one I'm in love with." "You know very well that as a prince, you cannot marry a woman who already has a child." "A child? No, you must be wrong," Kobe replied. "So you don't know? Ask her yourself," said the queen. The prince inquired about where Amara lived and went to Mr. Okoye's house. The prince found Amara. He apologized to her for hiding his true identity from her and explained that he wanted a woman who truly loved him and not a woman interested in royalty. The prince told Amara that Kobe was not his real name, that his real name was Rafiki, and he asked Amara why he didn't know about the child. She explained that the child he was talking about was his. She explained that he is the father of her son. The prince was extremely happy, and he rushed to tell the queen about it. The prince and the queen went to talk to the king who was sick. The king agreed that the prince could marry Amara. Later on, people from the Soto village came to the Maka village seeking for help because they were experiencing deep poverty. Every neighboring villages refused to help them. Their last hope was the Maka village. They agreed to help them on the condition of reducing them to slavery. They accepted because they didn't have any choice. Mr. Okoye informed Amara of the Soto situation. She was moved with compassion and went to tell Prince Rafiki that he cannot reduce her people to slavery. The prince, who was taking care of the village in the absence of his sick father, then called the elders of the village, and they decided that they could not reduce the people of the future princes to slavery. Prince Rafiki and Amara went to Soto village. No one recognized Amara in her princess outfit. The prince informed the people of Soto that they would help them, but without reducing them to slavery because of his future wife. There was the whole village gathered, and Amara's mother came out of the crowd and said that the princess was Amara. Everyone called her crazy because since Amara left, her mother had not been the same. She insisted, and Amara started crying, and the whole village recognized her. She told them everything that had happened. The people of the village apologized to Amara. She returned to Maka village with her parents. At her wedding, there were some people coming from Soto to participate. The prince and princess Amara lived happy with their child, and Amara remained very close to Mr. and Mrs. Okoye. This story teaches us about forgiveness and second chance, and also that out of a bad situation can come something good. When you find yourself in a bad situation, don't lose hope, because you can have tomorrow what you didn't have yesterday. You can have better than what you had. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please support by subscribing, liking, and commenting the video. Even share with your loved one. Thank you. Till next time. Bye bye.